Joey. I don't care about the quality. I just want to build. So, um, I'm probably not going to talk throughout the entire thing. I don't even care if nobody's in the room. I'm just doing my thing. But for future reference, for those who do want to listen for a little bit and see what's going on here, I have been trying to do this outline for a while, and I ran into a couple problems. And it turns out there were some things I didn't measure before that I'll have to work around, but I do have options. I know one of the biggest ones is the fact that the road is inconsistent. There are all different ages of road base plates used, the classic road base plates, the Wild West ones, the, you know, gray, dark gray, green, doesn't matter. I'll make it work in different colors as best as I can. I've always enjoyed the Wild West ones. I got them from Bricklink on purpose for the beach town because it makes that more pebbled atmosphere towards the beach area, and that was in the last setup too. Um, I don't even care if people like, comment, subscribe, do what you want, or don't. I don't usually push that stuff, so it's cool. If it's cool if you do, if it's cool if you don't, you know. Where was I? The basic oval is about the same as the previous dead side heights before I moved. The difference here is the table that it's on. I mean, it was still on one table and the same kind of table, but the layout of it has changed, where it's a little bit more on one side versus being in dead center. So, with that, I've been trying to move base plates to appropriate where things go. I do remember in that older design, I had some base plates that were basically just for the rails themselves, not for any construction around it, not for any of the roads or the buildings or whatever's. In that oval of track, there would be an oval of road, and sometimes with T junctions or something else to connect to a building. Inside of there would be approximately two 32 by 32 base plates from which I can build whatever I want, put any buildings in there, shops, municipalities, whatever's. Originally, I had done that with a hospital on one 32 by 32. The other one would have a police station and fire station combo. I have since then, over on Twitch.tv, and I think a little bit on YouTube and everywhere else, shared that I combined all three of them into one 32 by 32 building. Details on that later, but it's over here. And it's working out very nicely. It's very more structural than the previous buildings, so I'm happy with that. I still want to have more room here. I don't plan every building to be 32 by 32. The ones I've done before will normally be in like a classic town to town junior style of size, whether it's 8 by 16 or I have it around here somewhere. 16 by 16. Nope, that's not the one I was looking for. That's the one. Which I feel is favorable. It's fair enough for littler buildings that I can swap in and out at any given time if I'm going to use them for different things. And small enough to get the point across without having to be too elaborate. I'm sorry that I'm not the kind of builder, even if I'm an adult builder, I'm sorry I'm not the kind that goes all out and extravagantly, no matter what my collection or history or experience may dictate. I build as I like, and that's that. And I don't judge people for how they build. The problem that I faced when putting this all together, this area right here is where the train tunnel will be. And originally, for some reason, I laid this out on 48 by 48 base plates, even though that's not part of the final thing. Originally, I did that because I was going to have another layer underneath the town, so this thing would technically be raised up. But I'm putting that off indefinitely because it's a lot of pieces and a lot of time I don't have. I'd rather just have this on ground level, basic, but still functional. Going from there, the problem that I've faced was when laying out the base plates and having a rough idea of the town, the roads, rails, and everything from the previous setup, but shifted over. There is an awkward 7 to 8 stud overlap between things. It's a little bit off camera here, but it's towards this back curve. And that's not what I want. I do want the train tunnel to be roughly, 96 by 32? Yeah, 32 by 96. So 3 base plates deep, but 1 base plate long. So that way it has enough that it would cover the curve. Also why there's a marker here to show where the curve ends and be able to make the train tunnel, cut throughs. So, and I would also be building more stuff on top of that, which will be fun. Mountainside, other stuff. So with that awkward 7 to 8 stud gap, it means a couple things. I could move a bunch of this stuff over a bit, including the rail itself, to accommodate the base plates. And I say the rail too because the way these road base plates line up along this curve, if I just move the road itself, I don't know if it's going to be a problem cutting into the base plates. It might be okay. I could probably try that out now. Also, I found like a weird awkward gap over here of 16 studs. I don't know why that was there. I don't know if it was intended before, but I know that's an area I can play around with. There's nothing in there right now. The beach is reduced in size from what it used to be. It's about 2 base plates long if you count the ocean, which previously would have been almost 3 base plates, which I'm fine with that. The beach was really big before, was not fully utilized, and I would love to fit more town-like stuff in here while still keeping the beach as an option without having to make it super big. So what I'm going to do now, and I don't care what time it is, I actually want to try that out with the moving the road plates without moving the track, because I don't want to put the track further into the beach. It's kind of at the max point I'd like it to be. I mean, technically, I could probably put another straight track on either side if I have that 16 studs to spare, but that would lean a lot into the beach as a result, and it wouldn't really help anything in the middle of this because there's no shorter roads I would be able to put in there that would accommodate that. I mean, I do have some, but I don't even know where they are, and they just look a little too out of place compared to everything else. They're the 16 by 16s, these guys, but they have just like a little avenue cut through. I'm not a fan of that right now, and again, I don't know where they are at the moment. There's stuff in here, there's stuff in all different kinds of places. I'm just trying to work with this stuff for now, and it might change over time. So let's see. If I move everything over to this spot right here, I do know that the road is going to intersect with the rails. That's what the old design of the town did. I don't care. It's fine. I still get the point across. I can't really expand outward like that for the rails because they're 9 volt. If I convert it to power functions, yeah, I could throw like one or two. Um, I keep forgetting the names. Flexi tracks in there, but I'm not really worried about it right now. I would prefer having the 9 volts because I own the 9 volts and make it the most versatile I can with any train that would go on here. Actually, off to the side, I have one of the 9 volt trains, so I can connect it as I wish. So let's move this back. I don't even care if this is terrible quality or camera angle or narration or whatever. It's just me doing my thing. That's all that matters. I'm doing it, and I'm trying to make myself happy with it. And in a way, it is unique. It's different from what other people do. It may not be everyone's cup of tea, but you can't please everyone. I've already learned that. Alright, so let's move this one over. Oh, I gotta move the train back so I can pick up the rails. And then I can slide that here. I used to have this design where I put long strips of tape, like really strong mounting tape, underneath the roads. I peeled those off and was going to restick them, or they were going to be moved around anyway, so we're going to be in the same orientation as they were previously, but it looked very ugly. And I don't want to go back to that. There's already a lot of work to do that, and I don't want to cause further damage. There's a little bit of damage to some of the base plates. Not enough to break them, luckily, but there's still a lot of residue underneath. And I don't want to bother with that. Alright, I'm going to fit another base plate on here. Hey, at least while the camera's on, it gives me the ability to talk to myself and make it feel like it's part of the experience. There is the possibility that this might not be even, like with the wall itself, with base plates to the table. When everything's actually connected to each other, like the sidewalks will be connected, the plates just linking things up, and the rails too. It'll make a lot more sense. But for now, this is fine. I want to throw this on here, even though I have to move the tunnel. This is just an approximation of the height of the tunnel and also the width of it. Some of the pieces might be used, some might not. At least one to get a feel for it. I think this is the tallest that I have any of the passenger trains or any of the Lego trains in general, mostly because of this. So I'm basically accommodating for greatest height. And I don't know why I pushed it forward when I need to push back anyways. Okay, that almost got a little bit further there. Okay. That's roughly the layout with roads involved. I'd still probably have to figure out where exactly this will go again. But it should be close enough that it's like, okay, you can tell this is where the train tunnel begins. Maybe, yeah, that's this spot right here is almost the end of the the 48 base plate. And it's the last straight ballast, whatever the word is, of the track before it becomes the curve. So I guess it would make the most sense putting it here. Okay, that's fine. 5 studs off and 3 studs off. That doesn't make sense. It should be. How did it get over like that? Technically, the math I've done before with this was that the whole layout should be about 4 studs in from the edge of the table or the edge of the base plates on both sides. I don't mind if the back corner is wedged against the wall. If it has a stud or 2 available, that's fine. I could still use that for support. But from one side to the other, it'll be fairly even. And this one, for some reason, isn't. I'm just going to move it over a stud. Pick up the track, move it over a little bit. Yep, everything's lining up now. Pretty close to it. And also give, I want to say, a motorcycle lane. I generously want to call this either a motorcycle or a bicycle lane instead of a full car lane. I think I can actually do the math with Lego studs here. Yeah, it's like 4 studs from the end of the track to the median, or not median, the you know what I mean, the dotted lines. So yeah, but on the concept of this whole thing, this actually isn't that bad. And the funny part about it, I have no idea what the math is. I'm literally measuring this with Lego. I'm not doing this with a ruler or tape measure or anything, so bear with me. And also, it is late at night, and I'm burnt out from many hours of work, but I still wanted to feel motivated. I still felt I wanted to do something before going to bed and be a little happy moving on this. The funny thing is, even though I said before it was a difference of 7 studs, and this was, oh, actually the math checks out. This area was 16 before. Hands are blocked by the train. This area, as I said before, that was weirdly open, was 16 studs. That area over there needed 7. So now over here I have 9. This is good. I am fine with this, because I didn't have to move the rails at all in order to accommodate for the rest of this, especially for the curves. And moving that over and still seeing there's space here means I can, let's knock that over, means that I could bring this in, this beach area, currently infested with Spider-Man stuff. I could bring all of that beach area over by a stud, literally a stud. And I could do more if I wanted to, but I'm going to keep it at there, and I'm going to use a whole lot of the 8x16 base plates. I have a whole lot of these in gray, dark bluish gray. In the previous layout, I've actually done a similar thing with these, that they would be used on the outer curve of the track, which in this case I only need for one side, which is great, because before I did it with 2 sides. I think maybe part of it with the straights. I'm not entirely sure at the moment, but I have photos to prove it either way. I kind of want to see, because I know, as I mentioned earlier, I have a tan one. I don't know if I have more of these in tan. and it wouldn't bother me to fill the whole thing in them. I'm not worried about that. I'd rather not go to Bricklink or Bricks and Pieces to figure this stuff out, because I was actually going to go to Bricks and Pieces to try to get all the roads consistent, and did not work. I had I had a really big order of not only roads but also minifig parts and other pieces, and even when I reduced it and retried it several times on the site over the course of like 10 hours, I kid you not, sitting at the computer for intervals that added up to 10 hours. Not only was I fried, I couldn't even get the order through. I couldn't even get a reduced fraction of the order through. So, I'm just working with what pieces are here. I've already got boatloads of them, and I'd rather just. And I'm not saying that to gloat. I'm just saying I've hoarded these. Let's put it that way. There's a lot of crap here, and I gotta use it. I'd rather not buy more of it when there's still good stuff to use here. Getting back on topic, I'd like to at least put a few tan base plates in here to line up a little bit better with the beach. I know it's not going to be perfect, and I know there's still going to be this. There is no straight tan road base plate. That never existed. That never was in the Wild West or anything else. So that will be a compromise either way. And I think I've done that before. It's not a big deal. But looking at this, if I can get another one or two tan ones, that would be great. If it's not in the back, it's not in the back. I don't care. If the whole strip after that becomes dark gray. I just don't know where it's kept. Because I've literally moved these bins in here, and it doesn't mean that any of them are organized. A few vaguely, a few not vaguely. not even close. And as much as I could, I'm not breaking these. I'm not going to cut up base plates for a purpose that I can work around. I'm not trying to be super particular about this or other MOCs, really any of the things that I build. I mean, it'd be nice if things lined up, if things had the right colors or whatever's. If it has to be authentic on another material, that would be cool. But for something at home, personal use like this, even if it's on YouTube, I should just be happy with building it. That I can put this together with pieces, even if they're a little mismatched or not 100% perfect, and just have fun with that. Just have fun with making my own thing. A long time ago, I remember Bricksmith used to have a series all about that, called Instructions Not Included, on his channel. And he basically encouraged rebuilding Lego sets and other MOCs with any color imaginable, to show that it's not always about the color and color scheme. It is there are nice things. They are good things to have. But you can still build without worrying about it as much. Don't let that stop you from the concept, from the thing you're portraying entirely. You know, that kind of... It's a very positive message, is what I'm trying to say. Lego Movie, very similar way. Older Lego sets, alternate models, where it doesn't have to look perfect, it doesn't have to look fancy, it doesn't have to look pristine, shapely. You can do those things if you want to, but abstract art exists. And people still enjoy rugged, unorthodox, what do you call it? Inorganic angles to things. Alright, I'm looking around in the bins behind me and on the side of the table, and I don't see any that carry those base plates because they're see-through. one in this stack? Nope. Okay. Alright, so I am gonna go with plan B, and that's just work with the ones that are already out here. That's fine by me. That'll work okay. Let's see. So train over. Ooh. That's a problem. That is indeed a problem. Huh. I don't know why that I never found that out before. So I rolled the passenger train along the other curve. And it stopped. Because it hit the tunnel. The nose of it kind of just stuck out here and just bashed into the tunnel. This presents a problem. Now, how far forward do I have to bring this to make it work? That is a problem. I've currently moved the archway as far forward as I can physically on the road base plate before it hits the curve of the road. And even at that, the train will still hit the tunnel. I want to say maybe I could just move the roads closer, but I don't know how much that'll affect it. Nope, still not budging. Okay, so at what point, if I just keep inching it, would it receive the train through the tunnel? Which is weird. I thought I tested that before, but... Okay. That's pretty ways in. It's hard to see, but from the other side... There you can kind of see it. It's a pretty ways in from the curve of the base plate. I know I've kind of already said, yeah, it's a reduced lane anyways. What's the big deal? Big deal is how the rest of it's going to be built after that. You know, do I keep cutting it off on the road? Or, you know, is the train, even when it's motorized and running through here, going to keep tapping that? What if I try another stud? Let's see. It's like right close to it there. Not enough to love tap it. I'm not going to actually run the train. It doesn't have batteries in right now. And I don't want to make the noise. So that can kind of work. I'm moving another one to give it a little more breath. That's actually interesting. I did not consider that earlier, but that is important. Okay, so instead of moving the beach in one stud, I'm moving the town back one step further than before. That's fine. This is going to be symmetrical, so I'm only worrying about one side because I'll do the same thing on the opposite side later. Okay then. It's very, very weird. Or can I move it back now that I know it's not. Yeah, it doesn't seem like it's greatly affecting it. I can still put it in the same position. If I move the train, yeah, that's a love tap. I don't exactly want that. Alright, so I'll move the studs back, and then we'll move the beach in. Because now we see that's not changing it exactly. And that'll be really easy to move the beach inward. And keep in mind, this is just framing right now. So there's still things to do for the actual assembly. Later from this point, I would actually lay down plates on the rails and on the base plates for sidewalks, for fastening the road and rails and all these things together. So it basically makes its own framing out of it. I will say, unfortunately, in this process, I still have only this much of building space, like actual usable buildings. The only other way I could see working with that, or trying to add more options of places, is if I did it on like the outside of the track, like here or something, or a little bit into the mountain. And I'm not entirely sure about that. I already knew from the start this was not going to include the Pirate Roller Coaster, as the previous Studside Heights did. That was out of the question easily, because the Pirate Roller Coaster on its base plates would take up almost the entire beach. And not that you can't have beachfront amusement parks and rides, but I'd rather not deal with that. Okay. So there's that. I will say it's kind of weird, the quantity or inventories of base plates I have, especially for the road ones. I thought I'd have some that were a little more even, but turns out that's not the case. And I'll still play around with it a little bit. I think I could actually take out this gray one and move this green one and make that kind of its own thing. Swap a few things, I mean. So let me start off. By the way, this is 2 copies of the passenger train. It takes up about the smallest curve you can make in Lego, and 1.5, almost 2 straight track pieces in. It's fine. Right, I'm gonna move these base plates. Or maybe I should frame this first, actually. The hard part I have is that when I reinvented the fire station, police station, hospital, I created it all in one base plate that has roads. And theoretically, you could dispatch from either side of the building for any of those emergencies. That means, however, I would either have to turn a straight track into some sort of driveway for one of them, or I would have to use two tracks or two roads that have at least a three-way intersection. And I do have two tracks like that, but they're different colors. Am I really going to be picky about which ones I use? I'm not sure, honestly. I have done it before where it had an assembled driveway, just layer of plates or tiles over a straight track. Trying to see where Amber Lamps dispatches from the building. How many studs in that is, if it lines up with these. One, two, three. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Seven's our magic number, isn't it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Well, between them, it seems like the 6 would be better, because it's just wider road space to move from. That's a given. I knew I was going to use that. It's just what I do about this one. That's 7, right? Well, let me count from the other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. Yeah, it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Wait, what? 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. There we go. So it would run over a little bit of this. But it would also help with. Oh, yeah, I guess it would. That actually makes sense. Alright, you know what? I'm going to do that. I was going to say, because the other side of the studs would line up very well with the entrance to the hospital. So, might as well. And even if it runs over a little bit of studs, not a big deal. I'm willing to compromise that. So, one of those spots. Do I want to put it on this side? Which means I gotta swap more base plates around. I guess I do. It's kind of what I've done before, so yeah. Okay. Got to take these off earlier. I think I have a bin below me of the plates needed to add the rails on top. But I'll worry about that after the rest of this. Okay, so you will move over here. You will move out of here. And I have the hospital side facing us. Okay, there we go. I'm kind of curious if I want to use this here. Or I could move it over so I get more of the green thing going. Yeah, I like that better. Don't say I'm a contradiction because everybody changes something from their original design. First gut feeling is cool, it's good, but it doesn't work for everybody. Do appreciate and thank you for the people who did watch a little bit and left the likes. It did not go unnoticed, and I'm, like I said, you do you. If you do, cool. If you don't, it's fine, but at least if you have, thank you for it. Why can't it? It's stuck on the edge of the table. There we go. Okay, so we got that. Now I gotta move this base plate over here. So the gray theming, I guess, lines up better. And this might actually work out a little bit better for, I mean, I know I said earlier, color doesn't matter. But if I already have it here, I'll work with it. You know? What I'm trying to say is, I don't want to continue buying a bunch of things that I don't have for a, like for mock building, for certain parts. If there's not much reason to. If there's a way to work around it, I should consider that. For something like this, it's not a showpiece. It's nice for display. It's nice for the videos, for Beach Town videos. But it's ultimately my personal, private model. So if I want colors to really line up, if I want to be very attentive to that, I can do it. But I've been okay changing things, making them not as realistic, and working with that. Alright, green, there we go. I got 3 green base plates that are going to match up because they're already here. They're going to match up with this area. I think that actually works out a little bit better, having more of the greenery that way. From what I own without having to buy anything. I'm not going to buy a whole set of road plates when I have ones that function just fine. And this is the initial stage. I've already said, yeah, that was about that. Yeah, let's try it there. Yeah, it almost lines up. Because it was originally, this particular base plate was originally used for the curve, but it's over a couple studs now. That's just funny on me. On my part. Did not plan that. Alright. So we got that. We've got that. And finally, in the middle. Now, is this thing actually centered? It should be. As I mentioned earlier about the 4 studs either side, should be good. I like it already. I think it's already shaping up very nicely. I mean, I don't mind if the mountain stops like right here and the tunnel extends out from it. Even if it's just a straight thing like that. The point of the whole area back here is that I can build up from it, have another layer of these base plates, whether or not in the same green, or even if it's green, maybe we'll go back to tan or something. I don't know, or some other color. Um, to build up another layer and have that as some campground, mountainish area. There'll be some way to access it, of course, for minifigs, or maybe some rock walling. And then to go from there, possibly the lighthouse sitting on top of it, so it can have that beam of light, but still be a bit inland. There are some lighthouses that are not directly on top of the ocean. One of the easiest examples that comes to my mind, especially from the many lighthouses I've been to and know of in New Jersey, is the Twin Lights Lighthouse in Sandy Hook, or pretty close to Sandy Hook. It's very much inland, but it's very tall, very highly elevated above water. So that works. I'm not aiming for realism, but it is nice to see, like, oh, well, if somebody wonders, is something like that possible? Yeah, kind of is. All right, next part I have is to do all the sidewalks. So I'm going to bring the camera back over. Actually, while I'm here, watch out my face and the ceiling. Should really put the fan on, honestly. It's really warm in here. There's a quick look at everything with our rearranged base plates, giving a little more cohesion, but still open to things being different. I could also build on top of these if I really wanted to. Like this whole gray area on this side of the track, that could be tan. I could put tan plates over that. I could put tan plates on these if I really wanted a little bit more of that. The base of it does not have to be the last color seen. Anybody who has a modular knows that. I like it. I definitely like it. I am genuinely happy with this so far. This is I'm first of all, I'm genuinely happy that I had the motivation to even do this. Whether it was late at night or just in general. Just to find some time in the week, whether or not live, to continue this. Because I've hit a roadblock with this for a long time, since the last time I even shared about it. And I thought, you know what, the best way for me to do it is to do it. The best way for me to solve this is just to go back in and put things together and see what happens. And it worked. It's fine. It works. Alright. Moving on from that. We are good with most of these plates except for the two dark gray plates as far as the sidewalks. Because my thinking is, I know what I'm going to have for the corners. 3 out of 4 of them are put down already. Don't know why the 4th isn't here. Maybe it's in a pile or something. But with most of these, the idea is that I would connect these with light gray and light bluish gray plates to each rubber plate. So it would build a frame for all of them to stick together, at least on the inner curve. The outer curve, it's going to be a little more tricky. That's going to be with the railroad itself. There may be a sidewalk on the outside here, depending on how the train tunnel forms around it. There may be something on this side for a railroad crossing of sorts to get to the beach. I've humored this before, and I don't mind trying it again. I've early days of Studside Heights, I had actually created a similar setup here, where it's like road, rails, beach. How do you get to it without crossing in the middle of a curve? You know, having the right signs and things to, you know, stop the train to let people through. Make an overpass. Just make a staircase walkway on both sides so people cross over the train. Simple. Oh, I found the plate. It was on here. Yay. I love an easy solution. Alright, let's pull this together. Dark bluish gray plate is going to be a little bit iffy because for some reason these decided to have like this dotted line on the ends of it, on the ends of the road, which basically takes away a stud on the base plate itself. I can deal with it. Technically this base plate, I don't know if you already saw it, this T-junction base plate had part of the corner chipped. I don't know why, don't know how. Happened before I owned it. But I can still build over that and around it enough to keep it together. I'm actually, this actually is a bit of a change from the other sidewalk. It actually makes it a little bit larger by a stud. Because the previous one, it didn't really connect, the sidewalk did not really connect the base plates together. It was just kind of met from end to end. So this might actually be an improvement. Might actually help with the setup. Alright, I gotta get the plates from behind me. What do we need in here? Since we have this crosswalk on either side, I'm going with semi-big plates and then small plates to hold this together. It's probably going to be a little bit of shifting in place just to line everything up properly. And I know how much it blends in with this, but we'll figure it out. No biggie. Okay, and I guess I could do that. I could cover that over with a stud on the back side. Right? That was 7? Yeah, that was 7. Oh, I'll stick with it for now. Sure. Yeah. Wait, does that work? This is 10. Oh, right, yeah, because never mind. Don't worry about me. We got it. Although I just saw this out of the corner of my eye. Bear sign. Just having fun. Because that's what you do with Lego. You have fun. Alright. Moving on. I'm going to take one of these big ones. Stick it over here. Again, making sure everything lines up. Yes, I do realize this means I'm going to have to use a lot of 1x plates on the sides. That's probably why I didn't do that before. But like I said, I probably have it around. It's not a big deal. And if it helps with making this more rigid, considering I don't have the underlying tape layer, I'm all for it. this will go here. Line those up. I think the extra stud will help with the sidewalk, like the minifigs walking side by side. Alright, let's see. We're about to get into some funky territory. Because some of these base plates, or some of these regular plates, are not going to be by 6s, like the ones I started with. Instead, I have to try something different. I'm actually going to try something different with this one, actually, while I'm here. Brick separator shouldn't be far away. Nice and easy to pull that up. I'll use a 6 instead. That'll make it more rigid. Alright. Yeah, then we'll do that. Yep, alright. So far, so good. So I want to use the 4 here too. Guess I could. Yeah, most of the plates that are by 6 I've left are those, so yeah, let's do that. I remember my old layout of Studstead Heights before I moved. This back corner behind the hospital had a bus station. And it seemed cute. Seemed like a nice idea. But it was basically invisible. And it was rather large. It took up a lot of the space needed for the sidewalk. So maybe it'll actually work better that I have an extra space for that. Alright. I need 2 of those. There we go. And one more section. And I'm not going to worry about the inner 1 by space here for now. I mean, in the meanwhile, it might actually give me some leverage if I need to move buildings back and forth. For those who didn't see it on Twitch, or YouTube, or whatever, when I reconstructed the hospital, fire station, and police station into one 32 by 32 building. I didn't finish the police station, fire station top floor. So that is something I will have to come back to. But the main building, from the first floor to the second floor of the hospital, is done and usable. Actually, I forgot I had this here. I should use this for a gazebo. Throw it around somewhere else. No, I don't have the fire brigade. Thanks for asking. I know that both of those parts were used, or it was used with those parts in the bell tower of it, but it was used in other sets. And I got it from a used lot that had other sets in it. Don't think it had the fire brigade though. Huh, okay. I thought I had a few more plates. Oh, there they are. Really, that's it? Mm-hmm. Or maybe not. Alright, I'll live with that. I will come back to it later, but at least for now, gives me something to work from. Let's see. I should probably make another stand of it to see it from the other side too. Now that I have the first one figured out, especially for the height. One, two, three, five. Again, perfectly fine if the colors don't match. Because it's not the final thing. This is just a mock-up. Give me a sense of where to go. I'll have to change the plates on top of the roads later. So, there we go. I actually don't do that. Keep it consistent. So it's like a stud in from this. Is it between them? That. Let me use a handy dandy thingy to see if, again, this track is actually lined up. It is not. It is off by one stud. There we go. Weird. Maybe it'll work out better when it settles. Like there. That doesn't make sense. This is even. It should be here. Which it kind of is. Maybe it's because of the angle of the track. There we go. Should be right there. Looking at the two back to back to make sure I got it lined up. Pretty much. Okay with that for now, and well, the other way, I should have really done it this way in the first place. Measure how far it is from the base plate end. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have to go back further. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it's here. Again, with all symmetry involved. Okay then. Cool. This is already really better. Way better than when I started. I'll just do a slow push through. So you can see that it works fine. No love tap. They're both on the practically same distance, same size. Okay then. This looks good from where I'm sitting, honestly. Just seeing the wrap around. If we can bring it over. That looks way better. But see, here's that issue I was talking about before. Just having the right spacing. Spacing it with the base plate. And then trying to match that on this side. It'll definitely get better as more of the tunnel gets built, but it is a good starting point. A good frame to figure it out. It'll also probably get better even before the tunnel's built when the road, or when the railroad is connected to the base plates. It's not connected in every single spot. It's basically any of the straight or straightish areas, like that halfway on the curve, attaches to a plate underneath it, which then not only holds the roads, or not only holds the rails, the rail pieces together, but also holds all of that onto the base plate. So if this thing runs really fast, it's not gonna shift the base plates or the roads much. There we have it.